Hey guys, I'm here at Tim Foley's with the crew. Got Travis, got George in here, got Tim. So if you guys don't know who Tim is, Tim Foley is he was actually made infamous or famous, depending on how you look at it. The movie Cartel Land. Cartel Land is an award-winning documentary series on the cartel, but where Tim's role played into it was his organization, Arizona Border Recon. Arizona Border Recon's been around for about 9 years. Tim's been on the border patrolling the Arizona border about how many miles, Tim?
How many do we keep a track on?
Yeah, just you.
We probably look at about 400 to 600 square miles.
400 to 600 square miles. So we're actually on his property right now. We're actually at his house. And what I want to do is, because this is going to go on Facebook, and not a lot of people have seen this kind of like intimate look into the things that you showed us last night. One, can you show us a little bit about the traffic that's coming across that you've been seeing, and then kind of the significance of that? Because there's a lot of misrepresentations of what we think is coming across our porous border, but this is a game changer. This is completely different.
What do you want? Human, drug,
Let's
guns?
show the amount of people. So the inundation of like those 12, 18 people crews coming across. And I think, one of the misconsiderations or in disinformation that's been reported is on our porous border, it's a whole bunch of women and children coming across. And that's been misrepresented for a whole bunch of significant reasons. But the reality here, like sitting here on the Mexican-U.S. border with Tim, is Tim's been documenting all this stuff for years. And so he's been seeing exactly what's been taking place, but there's been a failure or disconnect between the intelligence that he's identifying and the information that he's seeing, and then our ability as a government and as a country to facilitate that and to do something about it. So the first video he's going to show you is, and I'll let you talk about it, Tim, some of the things that you're seeing.
This is an average size group going through. I mean, there was like 18 or so. These are dope meals.
And mind you, what you guys are seeing, this is not sped up.
No.
This is them moving.
They're hauling ass.
There's roughly 13 guys carrying packs and about 2 or 3 scouts.
But see, he's not wearing a pack, so what they do is to keep that speed going, they'll say, look, I'm getting tired. It's like, okay, I'll carry the pack. And so they can keep pushing harder and harder and just keep going deeper and deeper.
Let's show that video of them escorting that guy across the border, because I don't think people. There's a video in particular that's just very interesting to me because if you guys know my background, I've done counterterrorism. I've run counterterrorism programs across the world. I mean, my last job was a Special Operations Detachment Africa Operations Sergeant Major. So I did all counterterrorism operations in the continent of Africa. And so when I see something like this, all the spidey senses in my operational background go off. And what you're about to see is an armed cartel transportation mechanism which delivers people. And these people aren't just people. They're not people that are innocent people that are being transported for a better living or a better job, a better life. They're potential terrorists. And when I first saw this and realized that there was nothing really done about it, it really impacted me, because it makes me see that there's a complete failure or breakdown in our government to identify some potential threats or real threats that are addressing our country. So
yeah, and basically what you're saying is these are, and Tim can go into, these are potentially high value targets.
100%. And look,
because it's not cheap to get what you're about to see to get across the border.
And then the people's mindset, depending on your perspective, you can look at this video and go, oh, that's just a humanitarian push. They're pushing a guy who's innocent, who wants to be transported across for a better life. But as Tim will describe to you in this video, it's not the case.
Yeah, he wants a better life being escorted by heavily armed cartel. So here's Mr. Hefe with a 90 round mag. And then when he turns, you'll see his radio. He's got optics.
And this is from Tim's camera on the Mexican-U.S. border.
And as you see, more showing up. Then there's Mr. Guy in the green tracksuit, and this guy. There's only two guys who aren't camouflaged, and we're only one that doesn't have a chest rig or weapon or anything. Now, this guy, you'll see him right there. He's sporting a badge. And now this guy, his beard is nicely rounded, well trimmed, but he's the only one basically in like a green tracksuit and wearing Nike Shocks, a brand new pair of them, and he's the only one without a chest rig.
Now, can you explain? Now, for those who are seeing the badge, there's usually there's only two reasons why someone has a badge. Can you go into what that is?
Well, obviously the first one is he could be local Mexican law enforcement, and so what he's doing is making sure by monitoring his radio that the actual good cops aren't anywhere near him.
Which there is a high tendency that there is a lot. Well, everyone knows there's a lot of corruption within the Mexican government, especially amongst the local police force.
And so the other possibility is that he's one of their hitmen, and that's how they show how good they are. Is they shot a cop, and
it's a badge of honor.
They wear the badge.
Sicarios, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yep. And so they're just all sitting around having a good old time, and as you can see, it's straight up 12 noon. And there's Mr. Badge again. But see, they're looking because one of their scouts is coming back over to him. And now watch the scout. When he gets to him, he hit one of the humanitarian water drops, but he didn't bring any food for anybody else. He only brought it to this one guy.
Yeah, and the significance, I mean, think about it. You have humanitarian Americans, foreigners who come in here, and they're empathetic. And I'm empathetic to humanitarian causes. But they're literally coming in here, dropping caches of chow and water to resupply terrorists. I mean, there's no way to put it any other way. They're terrorists. They're advancing, and they're able to sustain life across these long hauls because of the humanitarian aid that's being offered on our side. But Border Patrol, Tim, nobody can go to them and go, hey, you got to stop facilitating this effort. I mean, they're literally facilitating criminals and terrorists coming across here, smuggling drugs, people, and potential high-value targets by providing assistance. And that's just insane. I mean, it's crazy.
I think let's show them. Actually, let's finish watching this, where you guys will see these members, except for the gentleman in the green. I shouldn't even call him a gentleman. The guy in the green will not come back.
Right.
And he's gone.
Here comes Junior off the fence. You'll see his AK. Because he's being called by the number 2 down over that way. There's his AK. There's another AK. There's the top of the M4.
And see, he's giving them the direction right there.
Yeah. He's telling them, because that's the way he came. As you can see, he's only talking to him. And he's saying, no, you want to go in over there and then loop around there. So now they're starting to mingle away, but they're going towards the direction he was talking about. So you saw that guy. Now they're all starting. Then they all disappear. There's none of them there. And so this right there is a humanitarian aid water bottle by a U.S. citizen hanging on a cartel horse.
So what we're about to show you guys after this video is the correlation in terms of these recon points that the cartel uses and these humanitarian drops. And like we previously stated, is that these aren't, these humanitarians, I know they want to do a good job, but the truth of the matter is they're not helping young women and children. They're actually helping these cartels be proficient in their job and stay hydrated, stay fed, to finish passing these drugs, running these guns, and this is the truth of what's really, especially around this area, is happening, and it's just not being portrayed that way.
Hey guys, I'm gonna cut this video short because I'm gonna try to do a 1 minute for you guys to show you the correlation between humanitarian aid and the correlation of bad guys with drugs coming across and picking up that resupply. Stay tuned to all the channels because we got a lot more going on. We just did a podcast with Tim. We're also doing a border run video that will be released that shows kind of our adventure, and a large part of the content being the situation currently on the ground here with Tim Foley. So thanks, guys.